All right, what is going on? Jordan Sherwood, UFC Fight Night coming up later tonight. You can follow me on Twitter, Wood on 1063, FatJackSports.com. And look, last week was a rough one. Last week we had one of our worst weeks in months. You have one of those. There are highs, there are lows, and last week was certainly one of the lowest of the lows, but we look to bounce back. Several plays and several opinions for later on tonight, highlighted obviously by Sirgan and Alexander Volkov and a heavyweight fight that could get somebody closer to title contention. I don't think either guy is ready for a title shot at Francis Ngannou. Obviously, with Stipe Miocic, John Jones still floating out there, and obviously Derek Lewis is next in line for a title shot. But it's very interesting. The question we're going to find out is Cyril Gane kind of for real? This is the toughest test to date in his UFC career. A lot of people are dismissing the fact that he knocked out Junior Dos Santos. I'm kind of one of those included. I love JDS, but he was, at the tail end of being relevant in the UFC heavyweight division. So here you go. Volkov, always been a tough out. He's got that long reach, long height, good kind of overall skill. But, here's the thing about Volkov. You look at the wins that he's had inside the octagon, and you're not going to dismiss them, but they're not against anybody. I mean, the two losses that, he's had, certainly Derek Lewis, last second knockout. Curtis Blades took him down, multiple times and won the fight via unanimous decision. Cyril Gane's supposed to be a next big thing, really big, contender. Muay Thai, great cardio, great conditioning. He's got submissions, for him as well. He's a slight favorite. I agree with those odds. I think that Cyril Gane's just going to be better in all areas. I don't see Volkov having a decisive advantage, and certainly, I believe at the end of the day, the fight's going to be, remain standing. But Cyril Gane has shown that he's got excellent footwork. He's got great speed for a heavyweight fighter. The play that I've leaned towards all week has been Gane via decision. I think that's probably the prop to look at the most, but actually the official play on the fight is available at FatJackSports.com. Very interesting co-main event. Ovince St. Preux, Tanner Boser. I've seen some people online joke that it's a loser leaves town match, a la like the WWF from the 80s and 90s, and I certainly agree with that. Both of these guys have been extremely disappointing. Tanner Boser, kind of burst onto the scene and looked, relatively like he was going to be a contender over, 2020. He had, some fights and some good impressive performances, but then, lackluster effort against Andre Arlovsky, then, a questionable loss to Ilir Latifi. We actually played Tanner Boser in that fight, lost it. Thought he won it, but he just didn't do enough. And the wrestling, the grappling background, certainly a worry. But then again, how much faith can you put in OSP? I mean, OSP is impressed, but also been stopped and knocked out. And you go back to the one time that he fought at heavyweight. It was during the pandemic. It was like he didn't want to cut the 205 anymore, so he had a sloppy fight against Big Ben Rothwell. We recommended Ben Rothwell in that fight, won that fight. But I think this is a different fight. I think that OSP and Tanner Boser kind of like, again, it's not going to be sloppy. It's going to be more of what OSP is kind of looking for in a fight. He's always got those submission threats. But Tanner Boser also, I do believe, has that athleticism. He's got that speed for heavyweight. So I think it really all depends on like, is Boser going to be aggressive? And is OSP going to be like sloppy, lazy OSP? Or is he going to be, in there and trying to be a killer? We do have a play in that fight, so go to FatJackSports.com, certainly for it. A couple other things, stand out to us. We're going to go with Danilo Marquez in a victory over Kennedy and Joe Cole, just because, like, I think Marquez is going to threaten a little bit more from the submissions. I don't think that Kennedy's, takedown defense has really been challenged in his short-term mixed martial arts career. It's an opinion that we like Marquez as a slight underdog. So, certainly recommend a play on that. But we've got several selections overall. We've got a selection in the Ike Villanueva fight. We've got a selection in the Warley Alves fight. My son Max is talking to me. What's up, buddy? Well, I'm doing a video right now, so I'll talk to you in like a couple of seconds here. So go to FatJackSports.com. We've got 8 plays overall, 8 recommendations. And always opinions. Wood on 1063. If you want to, hit me out for a DM if you got some other questions about some of the fights, but some very interesting ones and a lot of close fights that we certainly like. The Tim Means Nicholas Dalby fight should be a very fun fight. 2 veterans of the sport. We got to play in that one. Don't have a play in the Andre Fili fight. He should, I believe, dominate Daniel Pineda. If you look at it, probably a finish. Pineda's never going to the scorecard, so. There certainly is that recommendation on that. But Wood on 1063, FatJackSports.com. Enjoy the fights. Go Sox.